let me do this. Hold on, everyone. We're just doing a quick skip around, and we'll be in. Oh wow, Manu, how is that in the golden light? Ooh. Too beautiful for words. Buttons, I agree. It looks as though the luck is changing. Absolutely. After a rather, well, long night, to be faced with the sight of 5 cheetahs is just extraordinary, particularly since everyone else has had the opportunity to see them except for me. Up there's D'Artagnan, second from the left, the one with the collar around his neck. Everybody else has spent time with them. Every time I've come across the side of the river, I've missed out. But my luck has turned. Manu, I promised you Cheetah, and Cheetah have delivered. Well, I haven't delivered at all. All I've done is get us stuck. And then by pure chance brought us to the right area. So definitely scent marking. There they go up against a dead tree. Stopping to scent mark. Looking to establish their territory here. I don't know, I must actually double check on the collar data from D'Artagnan to see just how far south they usually go. I think this is a little bit out of the ordinary for them. But with 5 of them, there's going to be very few male cheetah out here that can challenge them. And what we'll be doing, what our plan will be for the rest of the evening, is shortly we will switch to our low-light camera and we'll follow them, because the extraordinary thing about this particular group of 5 is that they seem to move all through the evening, and they're marching further and further south. This is utterly stunning. This is the most, they have provided us the most extraordinary opportunity. You just don't get sightings of 5 cheetahs together. This is a truly exceptional thing to be able to see. Absolutely. I couldn't have put it better. Our beard, of course we have met in the past, our beard says that we need the theme music for Lawrence of Arabia. I couldn't agree more. I would play it as they walk across the horizon, but I made that mistake once before and I got our entire afternoon safari kicked off social media for copyright violation, which was a complete accident. I didn't realize. But there you go. I automatically got us our entire thing deleted. I wasn't very popular. So I won't be playing music, just in case we find ourselves with that situation once again. And I won't be singing because that will ruin the sighting. Moving up to a shepherd's tree, the perfect place to scent mark. Ah, this is so exciting. Justin, I've smelt cheetah urine, and as you say, leopards smell like popcorn. Cheetahs just, to me, smells a little bit like cat urine, to be 100% honest with you. It doesn't have the same beguiling scent of, I never thought I'd say that about urine, but it doesn't have the same beguiling scent of leopard urine. It would be nice if it smelled like something like, I don't know, what goes well with popcorn? Chocolate. Sweets. Oh, little startle. I wonder if these boys have figured out their whole hierarchy setup yet, or if they're still having the odd scrap. Oh, look at D'Artagnan there. Reaching up. This is just spectacular. Absolutely spectacular. Everybody taking their turn to spray urine. As Brent often comments, it is amazing just how much urine a cheetah body actually can hold if you watch them go about scent marking. Yep, everybody else, check everybody else's scent. All is well. Nope, that part's not quite covered yet. I'm not sure if it's Sammy or Sunny, and I do apologize if I'm getting it wrong. I think it's Sammy. Sammy? Alice, yeah, Sammy. There we go. Managed it at last. You want to know if another male cheetah could join this coalition? I would say no. I would say that it's unlikely. I think that they are well established. This is an exceptional situation. It really is something quite out of the ordinary for cheetah. Typically cheetah coalitions are related to each other, but these boys don't seem to be, because we seem to have two different age groups. But I think that this coalition was formed while they were quite young, and I think it's now well established. I doubt highly that they would be accepting of an additional sixth member. I could of course be proved entirely incorrect about that, as we've seen. Animals don't read the textbooks. They certainly don't play by the rules, these boys especially. So I'm not saying never, but I don't think so. Should we get a little bit closer there, Manu, since they're walking back in the other direction? Oh, boys. Oh, they're playing there. Oh, just bad timing. Okay, well. Oh, poor Mila's not appreciating me at the moment. Come on, Mila, come on, you can do it. She really isn't. I know. Got you all dirty. Made you slide through mud. The brakes have gone. It was worth it. Worth it just for this. In the afternoon sunlight doesn't get better. Beautiful. The perfect opportunity, I think, because otherwise we are going to get caught out, to do a quick, well, relatively quick camera swap that we can change to our low light camera. Let's go over to Tristan.
Well, you can see Hosana is up and moving all of a sudden. He's changed his demeanor quickly, and that's because a herd of Impala is just on the other side of Twin Dam's wall at the moment. So they're walking slowly in his direction, and he's just trying to give himself a little height just to see over the wall. And once they start coming, you can actually see them. They're right in front of me here, and they're walking straight towards where he is. If he sits tight and is clever about what he does and patient, he might just have a shot here. You can see the Impalas are right there, and so they're slowly but surely walking. Is that Impala got a bone in its mouth? It does too. So it's all happening. There we go. That's osteophagia that's being practiced there. The Impalas will do this from time to time. It's a way of getting calcium. So they pick up bones. You see it in giraffe and antelopes and all of the others, which is fantastic news. So it's really cool to see when they do that. And it's amazing to watch them kind of sucking on the bones to gain that calcium that they don't get in their diets. But I'm hoping what these Impalas are going to do is just walk straight up the bank towards him. And if Hosana just lies flat as they come over that bank, he's going to be in prime position to launch an attack and grab them. So we might see Hosana in an active hunt, which is going to be absolutely insane. So if he's clever about this, he's got the perfect place to hunt from. I was saying earlier that Twin Dams provides opportunities, and if the Impalas approach from this side and they come up over the road, he's going to be in a position where they're going to come over the bank and they're not going to see him, and he can launch an attack from there. But what he's got to make sure is that he keeps his head down and doesn't get spotted. You see, look, he's going down, he's using the bank. He knows those Impalas are slowly going to graze their way towards the eastern side of the dam wall, and they're going to come over and around towards the water, and he's in prime position to be able to then grab them. So he has got the best chance possible. There you can see him, he's just coming up on the other side now. Hosana, just stay where you are, don't move from there. There we go. See him there? Now he just needs to lie dead flat there and wait. The Impalas will walk straight to him if he sits where he is now. He is in prime position to be in. In fact, his best chance is actually if he just goes into a little thicket behind him, he just jumps into there and just sits dead tight. These Impalas are going to come over this wall straight towards him. He just needs to be patient and needs to wait and keep his head down, because otherwise those Impalas are going to spot him. See, look, there we go. He's just repositioning himself. No, stay there. Don't go up the wall. Stay down. There There we go. That's perfect. But look at him. Look at how low to the ground. Look at that. Isn't that incredible? He's doing the leopard crawl. It is my favorite thing to see from a leopard, is when they crawl like that, and he is in the best possible light that we could ask for. How cool is this? Look, he's just checking over the dam wall. Well done, Hosana. You are slowly but surely working things out, that's for sure. Now, the other bit of good news is Thamba is just north of us as well. He's not far away. Where I was tracking him this morning, they've just picked him up now. I asked the guys to have a look on their way, and they've just found him. So he's also not far away. So if Hosana does go south, because he is facing south now, at least we will have a second leopard this afternoon, which is fantastic. Look at this. He's crawling straight towards us. That is beyond epic. I have always wanted to see that when they crawl, but especially straight towards me. It is one of those moments that I've always wanted to watch. How cool is that? You see how low down to the ground he is. You are such a clever boy. Well done. Now I'm staying here because I don't... Yeah, the Impala is coming straight towards him, but it's going to see him. He's right out in the open. Hosana, you need to turn and go back down, my boy. Otherwise you're going to be spotted. Because there is an Impala just to his right. See, he's trying to go back now. And he's going to lay as low as possible and hope that this Impala is not going to see him. You're going to see the Impala coming into the frame any second now. There it is. Is that not ridiculous, guys? How cool is that? That is as cool as it gets when it comes to seeing the two of them. Now I wonder if he's going to explode out from there. The Impalas haven't seen him yet. If they look to the left, they're going to spot him, surely. He's right out in the open. Nope, that Impala hasn't seen him. There's another Impala that's looking in his direction. Look, you see that Impala? He's just turned in his direction, but they haven't seen him. That's ridiculous. It is so cool to see. Look how flat he is, and just goes to show that they're camouflage, and if he's still like that, he doesn't get a problem. But if you see, if he had waited where he was, right where he was standing is where they have crossed over. It's exactly where he should have waited. But that Impala is looking at him, and look at the light. It doesn't even get better than that. But hopefully he's going to run out at the last one. I think he's waiting for the smallest one, which is going to come over now. It's the youngest of the Impalas, is a much smaller individual that is right at the back, and that's going to be the one that I think he might have a go at. But look at that. Amazing. We are being spoiled, that's for sure. I wonder if he's going to get this right. Look. Look, the Impala's walking closer. Just wants to investigate what's going on. Hosana's lying flat. Look at that. Oh, there we go. You see, they've seen him now. They think it's a leopard. They're not 100% sure, but he's lost that advantage now. Yes, that Impala's seen him. It's not 100% sure, but it's seen that there's something lying on this wall that looks leopardy. Now you might be wondering, why would this Impala walk closer? Well, because it's making 100% sure. It knows also at that distance it can still outrun that leopard. So it's just checking. It's a pity that that Impala spotted it, because he was going for the last one. Yeah, this Impala definitely knows something's not right, but it can't put a finger on it. It sees this thing, and because it's not moving, it's not 100% sure. But look at that. How crazy is this? This is ridiculous. We have a showdown between Impalas and Leopard. There goes the little one, and that's the one he was hunting. I'm pretty sure of it. He was trying to go after that little one. The rest of the herd is now coming up, and his chance of getting these guys is all but gone now, I'm afraid. As much as it looks really cool, he's unfortunately blown his chance to then catch these guys. Had he lay where he was originally on the other side of the wall and just waited, he would have been perfectly positioned, and he really would have gotten it right. But you can see they're shouting at him now. They're making a lot more noise than they were earlier, so they've definitely spotted him, and there goes the opportunity. You can see they're now drifting away a little bit further, and you'll find Hosana's face will pop up just now. How cool was that though? Our little boy is getting there slowly. A little mistake in that he went on the wrong side of those impalas and came onto the wall. If he had stayed down behind the wall, he would have had them literally tramping over the top of him. So he's just unfortunately missed it that way, but it's the way it goes, and he'll learn from that. He's now learned, okay, hang on, these impalas do move in this direction, and they do do walk in a certain way to water, but now they're moving off. He's just going to lie where he is and just rest. And well done though, boy, you did a good job. Super patient. And look, his head is still down. He knows that he's probably his head is still down, and he's still taking it easy. I think I'm going to take off this eye patch though, because I can't see a single thing at this stage. I'm battling to even see what's going on, so I need to remove my eye patch because I can't really tell what's around me out of my right side. So it's time to get rid of the eye patch. That was all very exciting. Oh no, eye patch is stuck to my face, given that it is gaffer tape. You put it on the Impala, yes. If we'd put a blinker on the Impala, maybe old Hosana would have caught his dinner. But close, very, very close. Well done, boy, you're getting there. Amazing to watch though. Isn't it incredible to see how he maneuvers himself and how he gets low to the ground and just drops that belly and stalks slowly? It really is a wonderful display of just how sneaky a leopard can be. There is not a single blade of grass or cover or anything where he is on that wall, and it took the fourth Impala basically, or third Impala, to spot him and to see him in the open like that. So it just goes to show you how well camouflaged they are and how sneaky they can be. If he had grass around him, those Impalas would never have seen him, not in a million years, and those Impalas have most definitely escaped a very certain death. Juan, you're asking how far the Impalas were from Hosana. It's difficult to judge on screen. I know that the lens will compress the distance, but I would say they were, looking at it now, maybe about 10 meters, which is just on the edge of the strike zone for a leopard. They prefer things a little closer, so sometimes you'll find they'll get in 5 meters. Had that been a buffalo and lions, the lions would most certainly have gone, and had it been a cheetah or long before that, they would have been running after it. So just a little bit different with leopards. They like things to come right towards them, and so it was really quite amazing to see. So cool. And when he was walking towards us, I hope lots of you got those screenshots when he was crouched low and his eyes were at us and he was walking. It's a photograph that I've always wanted to get, and I haven't got it because generally we get it going across the road or away from us, but that was super cool. So I hope some of you got screenshots. It would be really good to see them a little bit later. Well, no, that is such a cool thing to have witnessed. And as we were talking earlier, they go from sleeping to up in 2 seconds. Nancy, you're asking if Impalas have good eyesight. Most definitely they have good eyesight. They need good eyesight to survive out here. It's not an easy world, and spotting camouflage creatures is never very easy at all. So they do need good eyesight, and they need to be able to see what's going on and to be able to watch and look and spot predators, so their eyesight is good. The problem with their eyesight is that their depth perception is not great because their eyes are on the side of the head, and so they don't have binocular vision like what you would see on a leopard or monkeys or us as people, where we can judge depth very well. With Impalas, a little bit more tricky for them. I'm just going to go a little bit further so we can just see his face a little bit more because of the way that he's positioned himself. There we go. So here he's now sitting just ever so regally. He's watching some other Impalas actually further south of us in Little Gowrie, so I don't think we're going to have him for too much longer, but luckily we've got Thamba right in the center of the property, so we'll head off to him if Hosana does go south, which is really cool. So leopards out of nowhere. It just goes to show you that you can never give up, and leopards are animals that will move around extensively through the day. Everybody always thinks that a leopard is a nocturnal creature, doesn't move during the day, but this is a prime example. Hosana certainly wasn't here this morning. Thamba, we had his tracks, but we didn't find him anywhere nearby a road, and then this afternoon 2 leopards in the space of 45 minutes were found. So it really is pretty incredible how many leopards we are seeing at the moment, and how the 2 boys have been so good to us. So Christy, you say, don't worry, you got several screenshots of that photo that I wanted, so thank you, Christy. That's excellent news. It's just like I say, when they're down like that and they're stalking, it's just such a cool way for them to walk. And I see more impalas are coming from the north, and Hosana has spotted them. He's looking over his shoulder, and these impalas are moving slowly but surely to come drink at the dam. So he's in for a busy afternoon, but where he is now, he's got no chance to get to them. It's not like these impalas that he had this cover of this dam wall to use to himself and to be able to use the cover to hunt. This is a little bit of a different story. He's completely out in the open. The impalas are coming and there's no vegetation between him and where the impalas are, and that's why he's watching and not really moving too much at this stage. But I promise you there's going to be a dead impala here at some point. Jackie's 8th grade class. Hello everybody, and hello, I hope you're having a wonderful day at school, and you want to know whether the impalas are colorblind. No, they're not colorblind. Impalas do see in color. Most of our antelope species do see in color. They just don't see it in as good a color as what we see. So we see in a situation where we see bright colors and a very large scale of colors. The antelopes maybe not quite as vivid, but they do definitely see in color. The predators slightly different. So lions and leopards have sacrificed that very good color vision to be able to see at night. And so how that works is that you've got rods and cones in your eyes, and those rods are cells that pick up light, and cones are cells that pick up color. Now as humans, we've got pretty much 50-50, and that's why we don't see very well in the dark, and we pick up really vibrant colors. But as leopards, they mostly have rods and very few cones, and so they see in almost a monochrome, which is kind of a black and white roughly. There's a little bit of color in there, but they then see very well at night, and in fact their vision at night is very similar to ours during the day, which is quite amazing. But look how he's gone into a flat posture again to watch these impalas. It's cooled down completely, the sun is down, and so Hosana knew that there's going to be animals coming for water this afternoon. That's why he was so patient. Look, he's itching to go. Look at the back legs, the tail. He wants to creep. Tim, you say he needs to slink off and hide. Look, he's just watching. He's now working out. You see, he's looking around. He's trying to figure out, okay, how am I going to get to where those impalas are drinking without disturbing them? And he's figuring out, planning. And leopards are very cunning. They know. They sit and they stare and they watch, and then they try and find some sort of vegetation or some way that they can get round towards these impalas to be able to hunt. So he's calculating the whole time, and he's watching their movement. So he's watching, okay, they're going to drink here, and then where are they going to go from there before he decides to go anywhere? If these impalas start walking towards the dam wall behind me, I wouldn't be surprised if Hosana quickly leopard crawls his way over this dam wall, down this backside, and then runs along the back and tries to cut them off, exactly like what he did to that other herd. And so if he stays sitting where he is now and maybe just creeps a little bit forward and then goes down again, if these impalas come along the edge of the water like those other ones did, he might then have a chance at hunting them. But you can see he's itching to try and move. He's low down, so even though he's got a belly that has got food in it, he still is going to take the opportunity that he needs. And it really is exciting to sit with a leopard when he's in active hunting mode like this. And you see how low a profile he's keeping. He's not popping his head up, just staring over the branches, and he's got that nice thicket just in front of him just to keep cover. Ilana, he was 14 years. You want to know do I know what his last kill was? I'm not sure. The last kill I saw him have was a scrub hare, but that was a number of days ago, and the chances of him being this full after that meal is virtually zero, so he must have caught quite a number of things since then. I would imagine that he's probably in all likelihood fed off a number of other scrub hares, and that's what he's gone after. You see he's gone completely flat because the impalas are all lined up now drinking, and they're sitting along this sort of northwestern edge of the waterhole in beautiful reflections as they've all got their heads down. And that's why he's just watching and checking and making sure that he keeps an eye on these guys and seeing, I think, which way they go. But if these impalas decide to move and they decide to start coming southwards towards this dam wall, he's actually in business again, because the same is going to apply in what we saw just now. It's just the opposite side, and he's got to just get across this dam wall, which he should be able to do if he just keeps a low profile and just slinks over and then down, and then he can move quite quickly from there. So I'm hoping that these impalas don't decide just to move off. But generally, the movement of impalas at Tundams, and the ones that I've seen, is they drink and then they go straight west into the thicket behind me. And so maybe he might follow them from there. But you can see, there we go, they're departing. They're not coming south, they're going straight west. They generally do that. They head off towards the bush line and into the thickets. Philip, you're asking if prey species ever check for urine and footprints. Not so much in that they check for urine and footprints specifically, but urine, it has a smell and a chemical signature, and they will most certainly check for that. If they get a whiff of a predator, they will go very alert and stare and look around and make sure they know what's going on. If they are in a situation where a predator is scent marked, then you'll have a situation that they will get urine on their feet, and there will be a bit of a scent mark there, and that will then carry through the bush, and you'll find that they'll pick up that scent. So it's more a scent than anything else. It's not actually footprints that they go after. But he is so low to the ground right now. Well, those impalas are dissipating. I want to just quickly go around him and just get onto the other side of where he is. So let's just see. So I wanted to try and see if we can get a two-shot like we had just now of the impalas and the leopard. So we're just going to go around quickly, and I'm going to turn so that it's much easier for Senzo and we're not shooting behind us, as well as this beautiful sunset that we've got as well. So look at that. There we go, Senzo. How's that, buddy? That is about as good as it gets when you want sunset and a leopard. I know it's quite far off, but Senzo is going to line it all up now, and we're going to get his little head poking up with the sun in the background. So there's an African sunset with Africa's probably most beautiful predator that we see right there. Isn't that wonderful? I think so. Very cool. And the Impala is unfortunately drifting ever so slightly into the thickets and not coming his way at all at this stage. Poor Hosana, back to sleep you go. You're not going to get a meal just yet. You see, he's watching though, he's still keeping an eye out. Hopefully more Impalas do come from the south again, although I think those Impalas that were coming that way have run quite far now, given that there was a cat around. Still watching them. Senzo, I'm going to just get you a little bit better. So I just stopped here just for the sunset, but I do want to get Senzo on a level playing field, because we're on a slope, and it's very difficult on a slope because he's got to then balance the edge of the horizon line with me and the sun and the leopard. And so if we're on a flat platform like this, it's much easier for Senzo to be able to do his job. So we want to make our cameramen's lives as easy as possible, and there we go, Senzo, that's a bit easier, isn't it? There goes the Impalas, just running to the south now. So if he wanted to, he could potentially still hunt them. I think he's just not really in the mood now, although he's still watching. Maybe there's one or two Impalas that are still in the open that he's nervous he's going to get spotted if he walks, and that's why he's watching them go into the thickets before he gets spotted. So if you see, there's some, and they're drifting all along that whole tree line. There is Impalas. There they are. And they're slowly but surely moving to the south. So there was one that just went under the sunset, and then the rest of them are, if you just drift to the left, so you'll see them all in a line, kind of crossing southwards, or southwest, if we call it that. So there's a couple others that are coming. There's another one over there, and slowly but surely heading south, like I say. Hosana, come, my boy. Now's the time to move. You can see the Impalas are drifting away. Hosana looks like he's lost interest for now, though. I think he's decided Impalas are too much hard work. I tried once, I got spotted. I'm going to wait for it to get darker before I do this again. But very close. A kill at Twin Dams is imminent for one of these young boys. I'm pretty sure Hosana is working it out slowly but surely. He's definitely getting some technique to this whole process, and he's learned that this wall is a valuable part of hunting, and so he eventually is going to get it right. What he did now was fairly kind of close, but he made a few little mistakes, and that will all come right eventually. You'll find that he's going to. Now you see, he spotted the Impalas moving behind him. There we go. You see? So now he's working out, hang on a second, there still might be an opportunity to hunt here. There's a big termite mound, there's a dam wall, maybe I can get in close to where those impalas are. So that's what he's watching. You can see the little tails starting to fidget, the little cogs are turning now. He's realized, hang on a second, this hunt isn't actually over just yet. And now he's watching that there's more coming that way. Shame, poor Hosana. Come on, boy, look at the color in the water as well. Isn't that beautiful? Spoilt is what we are sometimes, and pictures like that certainly spoil us even more. What a wonderful way to spend our day. Now, funny enough, those of you that follow me on Twitter will have noticed that I posted a photo today saying, I wonder if we're going to have a leopard on Twin Dam's dam wall. And I posted a photo of this exact view that we are currently having. It was a little bit further down the wall, but it's pretty much exactly what we see now. Not the same light, but it was exactly kind of how it is now. So I'm quite glad that came to fruition. I was throwing a big Hail Mary out there, and the chances of it happening is very slim, and it's not going to happen all the time, but at least today we got lucky. And it's just weird that it's exactly what the photo was that I posted is the scene that's unfolding right now, bar the game drive vehicle that was in the background of that photo. There's none of that here, it's just impalas that are walking around. Hosana, have you decided that's it, boy? Oh, he is beautiful. That is as regal as it gets when they sit with their heads up a little bit. Mr. P, you say he does look very beautiful in the sunset. He does, doesn't he? He's looking about as good as he could possibly be, and he's starting to fill out and become more male in his appearance, and that means that he's getting this much more sort of stocky, thick-set look, and that's what makes him appear that much more, sort of have that much more presence in when you see them sitting up like this. When their chests get wide, they start to become imposing, and they start to really kind of look as though they know what they're doing and in control of the situation, and that confidence shines through, and it makes leopards appear that much better. Right, Hosana, what's your next move? Are you going to sit tight and just watch around? Seems like he's contemplating what's next on the agenda for a young individual such as himself. But while he contemplates, I'm sure Jamie's sitting contemplating whether or not her 5 spotted beauties are going to wake up.
From spotted stealthy cat to spotted sleepy cats, our 5 cheetah brothers are taking a moment to rest and regroup after their frantic scent marking of that poor sodden shepherd's tree that I don't think will ever need to have water ever again. All 5 of them resting scattered by a termite mound. Apparently we've been told that they ate a Thompson's gazelle for breakfast this morning, which means that they might decide to have a quiet evening. We'll see. We're not far from the migration at all. Driving along here from where we were to up towards Ashnell's camp, Manu and I must have driven past 100,000 wildebeest. So we have arrived back in the centre of the migration once again. This afternoon we did the long journey from Talek to the southern part of the Mara National Reserve. At high speed too, which was interesting because we didn't really have brakes. And this would be my first time following, my first time ever following cheetah here at night. It is. I've never managed to be in a situation where, big roll over there. Sorry. I'm looking at the other cheetah. There we go. Where there's the 5th one resting right at the back there, a little bit away from the rest of the group. Now they've spotted something and I've spotted something too. I saw movement in the direction that this guy hasn't spotted anything, but I did see movement behind him. I'm just trying to see if I can see it again. The other 2 boys that are a bit closer to us, they noticed it as well. Can't see what it was now. It looked like a little antelope. Either way though, The remaining cheetah were looking. They've decided they're not too concerned. Oh, beyond excited for tonight. Hopefully these gentlemen decide at some point to have a bit of a snooze. I see what I saw. It's a Tommy. But it's off to the right there. Paul from Nashville talking about potential prey and the fact that they had a Thompson's gazelle for breakfast. No, a cheetah could not hunt an elephant. They are not built in the same way that leopards or lions are, so even 5 cheetah altogether would have a really tough time of things. There's no way that they would be able to hunt an elephant. They're actually relatively, I don't know if I would call them fragile cats, but they're built for speed and not for strength. And a cheetah's only really going to weigh around about what a female leopard weighs, perhaps a little bit larger, so around about 50 kilograms, over 100 pounds. They're definitely not large enough to take on an elephant, and they would never even try. The only animal that is really capable of hunting an elephant out here is a lion, and that's because they're social predators. Philip, oh, it's so sweet when they do that. Philip, yes, and the animals do use vehicles to chase and evade the various predators. We try and avoid that as much as possible. I have been used like a termite mound before, essentially by predators trying to sneak up on their prey. I try not to be in that situation, though, or in that position, because really we don't want to have any kind of an impact on their hunt. And I've had animals come and hide under my vehicle before, particularly hyena during a hyena fight was one example. And I'm sure I know many stories of it happening with other predators as well. One thing that cheetah are famous for in the Mara, and that is really not a good idea, is they often utilize car bonnets or hoods. We call them bonnets. Most people chuckle at that and call, or at least in America, call them a hood. The cheetah are famous for jumping on there to gain a vantage point, and that's something to be avoided at all costs. It's something that you'll see a lot on programs. People allow it all the time. It's becoming less and less prevalent here as people become more understanding of what it is they're actually doing to the cheetah. And there's a couple of reasons why it's a very bad idea. First of all, they're wild animals. If they get too used to people, one day there's a possibility a child might squeak when the cheetah jumps on the car, and children, of course, are a whole different story when it comes to predators. A cheetah might be scared of an adult, but it will not be scared of a child. A cheetah very, very seldom attack humans, but if they learn that there are people in the car and they're comfortable with that, it becomes very dangerous for them because they become a danger to people. And there's also, of course, the possibility of disease being passed on both to the cheetah and to people as well. Big stretch, limbering up those athletic limbs. Snazzy, generally speaking, only one meal a day will be prevalent, and the reason behind that is not because the cheetah don't want to eat more, it's just because they are the ones harassed most frequently by hyenas out here. They just lose their kill time after time, and in fact they have a very high hunting success rate when compared to a leopard or a lion. They're actually quite successful, but unfortunately for them, that it doesn't actually equate to constant food. But you can see now they're interested. They've ignored the Thompson's gazelle that are wandering along below them, and they're now looking across at a herd of wildebeest on the ridge. I can hear lions close by. Close-ish, just over the next ridge. Perhaps they hear them too. And we're off. And now the fun starts, Manu. Okay. Right, for the rest of this safari, my voice is going to be disembodied due to the ME20's range, so you'll have to forgive us as we go along. you won't really see much apart from the corner of our dashboard. That's alright, you're far more interested in the cheetah anyway. Let's go up ahead of them and go find out what they're after. Hey Elena, it's lovely to hear from you once again. Elena's one of our 14-year-old viewers, and she is a regular. She's practically part of the Safari Live furniture at this point. No offense, Elena. I don't think these 5 cheetah boys are related to each other. I think 2 of them are, and I think 3 of them are, if that makes sense. I think we've got a mix of 2 different groups here. I think we've got a mix of 2 brothers and 3 brothers. I'm not 100% on that, but that is what I think we have. Just because there's quite a significant size difference between the 2 older ones and the 3 slightly younger ones. Here comes D'Artagnan, moving in to water the shepherd's tree. So typically with cheetah coalitions, the standard is that the members of a coalition are related to each other. And the reason behind that, one of the reasons behind that, is because generally speaking there is a dominant member of the coalition, and they are the one that gets to mate with the females. And it's not like a lion coalition where essentially everybody gets a turn, so to speak, with a female. Female cheetah are far harder to come by. So being related to the male that you are helping to pass on his genetic line makes complete sense. These boys obviously are an exception to that. And of course, genetically, cheetah populations are so, what's the word? What's the opposite of varied? Why can't I think? They're essentially, there's very little difference in cheetah genetics because there was a population bottleneck many thousands of years ago. They've become very genetically indistinct from each other. They could essentially, apparently, graft skin from one to another without any problems. All 4 off. Where's number 5? He's having a nap. There's always one in a group who just doesn't want to get up. I think they're after that wildebeest herd in the background. Still quite a long way to go before they're close enough for the chase. Shada, you'd like to know how you can tell the difference between a male and a female cheetah. Female cheetah are slightly smaller and slighter than the males, but the best way to go about it is to have a look underneath their tails. So obviously, boys being boys, in the male cheetah they have testicles that stick out from under the tail ever so slightly, whereas you don't see that in the female, obviously. So that's actually the most accurate way to tell the difference, because really, you know, size is one thing, but when you're dealing with a young male, or yes, if you're dealing with a young male, you might mistake it for a female. A mistake I'm aware I have made once or twice with leopards. At first glance, making an assumption. Sorry everyone, you can have a nice view of the corner of our dashboard as we catch up. But these cheetah boys are on a mission, and so are we. Oopsie, I found a hole. And we're off, making a beeline straight towards the closest wildebeest herd, which is probably still about 500 yards away, 700 yards away actually. But yes, they do seem to have worked out a proper process to the whole thing. And typically we talk about cheetah because of their lack of strength. We talk about the fact that they're diurnal, so that they're not in competition with hyenas and with lions, and actually manage to avoid them. But, as we've said, animals don't read the rules book. These boys appear to disagree. Everybody keeps talking about this coalition splitting. I'm not 100% sure it's going to be honest. I think they're onto a good thing. I'm not sure that they are going to split, but it's entirely possible that I'm mistaken. These boys have been such a revelation in terms of, let's go catch up, in terms of the stuff that we've learned from them, that it's entirely possible they will split. I don't know, but I'm not so sure. I'm not 100% convinced they're going to split. I may easily be proved incorrect, though. Only time will tell. Unfortunately, we'll be here to follow the tale. Whether or not they decide to stay in this reserve, or if they decide to go wandering off to the conservancies. You're a long way from where I was told you were, misters. A very long way off. Such a pleasant surprise. Ilana, if lions were to find this coalition, and of course for our new viewers, predators will dispatch other predators. It's part of the competition, it's their natural instinct. So if lions were to find this coalition, they would try and attack them. The cheetah would probably get away, but Elena, no, the cheetah brothers would not come back to defend each other. There's one trotting ahead. Let's watch this. Are they going to go straight in and just cause panic? Or are they going to trot forward like that? It's so fascinating to watch this whole system. Elena, unfortunately for them, survival is survival. They're not going to be able to defend each other. One thing I did watch many years ago that horrified me, when I think I was still a kid when I watched it, or a teenager. But essentially I watched a documentary where males were fighting over a female. And they were so busy fighting that they didn't notice a male lion come in. And he ended up killing the female, the males that were fighting over her. It was absolutely horrifying. It stuck with me for years. Alright, we're getting closer. Number 5 has still not made an appearance. He appears to want to have a bit of a lion. Let somebody else do the hard work, eh? Here we go, trotting off. Trotting. They've learned to use, I think James is right, I think they've learned to use the darkness. They know they can get close quickly, and then all they have to do is cause panic. Now, Alice, I would say, if we're going to do a Facebook Live, now would be a good time to start. So we'll be joined by Facebook audiences very shortly. We are live here in the Masai Mara of Kenya, watching 5 cheetah moving straight towards a wildebeest herd. This is the most extraordinary opportunity, just as it's getting dark. I'm just going to be a disembodied voice, essentially, and the reason behind that is we've got these amazing low-light cameras. Look at that. Wait, what is that? Oh, it's warthogs. It's warthogs running for home. So I'm going to be a disembodied voice, but just to introduce myself, my name is Jamie, and we are watching this through a low-light camera. Uh-oh, it seems like the warthogs have scared the wildebeest. We're live from the Masai Mara here in Kenya. We're the only people out at this time. It's nearly 7 o'clock in the evening. It's practically pitch dark. And we're watching 5 cheetah brothers make their way towards the wildebeest herd. So we're here in the middle of the Great Migration. And these 5 boys, there they go, they're off, have learned to specialize in hunting wildebeest. Look at them go. Alright, we're going to have a bit of a bumpy ride. I apologize if you get motion sick, but we've got to keep up. Hold on. Everybody hold on. It's going to be a bit bumpy and a bit confusing, but just bear with me. I'm going to get us back towards where we need to be elsewhere. So I'm really very chuffed. We are right sort of in the middle of the Mara National Reserve. They're off. Quick. They're so fast. everyone. I promise I'll get you a view in a minute. There goes one cheetah off to our left. You have a look there. Okay, we switched to infrared so that we can get a little bit of a closer view. Karen, you say, run boys run. There's D'Artagnan with his collar on. That of course allows researchers to keep track of his movements. And the wildebeest have taken the opportunity to go racing off. I can't see the rest of the cheetah males. There they are. And it looks as though they've missed out. They just weren't quite close enough before they started their trot. But what's amazing about these particular males is that they seem to have taken full advantage of, well, nocturnal hunting, which is unusual in cheetah. There's the wildebeest. We're just going to get closer in case they try again. But what these 5 boys have learned to do is they've learned to work as a team, so they're not running full speed. Instead, they're hunting socially almost in the same way that lions do. They plan it all out, they get to the point where they are in a good position, and then they utilize their numbers rather than their speed to catch a wildebeest, which I find quite extraordinary. It's a completely different approach. The air just smells so strongly of wildebeest. These boys are going to try again, I think. The wildebeest have stopped not far away. Now, typically when a cheetah goes on a proper full-speed chase, they're exhausted afterwards and they need about an hour or so of recovery time. But with these boys, they don't run full tilt, so they don't need the same level of recovery. Now, we're going to be here with them all night, staying with them and watching their movements. So you must keep track of us on Facebook. When we go live, it means that these cheetahs are back up and moving once again. And you can see them panting. We've got the entire night free to spend with them. Oh, listen, listen. They're chirping at each other. Of course, as I said, listen, they stopped. Just a little chirp. Chirp. The sound the cheetah make that you'd never expect a big cat to make. The sun is slowly setting, and these boys are going to regroup, and try once again. Alright, for now we're going to be saying goodbye to those of you who've joined us for this brief window of the cheetah hunt. They're going to rest and relax. Don't go anywhere though. Keep checking in, because we're going to be here with them all night.
Very cool this afternoon. We've been spoilt, but there you can see another spotted bum chasing off after something, and that's Thamba that's busy chase something. I don't know what he went after, but he sounds like he went after something. I have no idea. What is down there? This looks like there's something else around. I'm just going to try and get into position, but he definitely went after something, so I don't know what he's chased after. We just got into this Thamba sighting, and it seems as though he's busy hunting as well. So it's just action, action, action all the way, which is hectic, but awesome at the same time. Now, where did you go, Thamba? I've lost him completely now. And try sneak in here. This is the last time I saw him, was just here, but I can't see down. I'm not sure what he chased and where he's gone. He must be directly below me here. There's a very steep gully that he could be in, but I can't see any. Can you see him, Senzo? Must I go back? Okay, so Senzo says he can see him from where he is. I might be a little bit low, that's why I can't see. I'm gonna try and just turn you a little bit, Senzo, so that the bonnet's not in the way. Like that. Is that better? So Senzo, I think, can see him. I can't at the moment, but somewhere down below here is a leopard. Oh, there he is. There's little Thamba. What you doing down there? Are you going to come back up and say hello? There he comes. Hey, boy. He's got to be one of the most beautiful individuals He's just sniffing around. What is around here? Because there's apparently a hyena lurking too. I don't know if maybe he had a food source or he was chasing something. The way he's looking into the trees, it would suggest that he chased something, maybe like a squirrel. That could be possible. Maybe a squirrel that was just going home to roost after a long night. So it could be that's what he was after. I can hear a squirrel alarm calling next to me here, so it must be that he chased, and that's why he's looking up into the trees trying to work out where's the squirrel gone. And he'll be surviving off little squirrels and various other things, but you can see he's also not exactly that unrelaxed with the vehicles. Hello, boy. Look how beautiful this cat is. Look at those eyes. You do have the most mesmerizing face, you know that. I don't know if he goes again. And he's also not too skinny, given that we don't think he's been with Mom for quite a while. Rocky, Thamba's probably, I would say, about 400 meters to the north of where Hosana is, up the Mulawati drainage line, but not far at all. It seems to be that the two of them are hanging around in this general vicinity. I wonder if he's going to go up the tree for us. Are you going to climb the tree? Looks like he might go up. He's busy looking up the tree to see if I think he can spot any sign of the squirrel. The squirrel is on, I can hear, is not here. It's on the other side of this drainage line. So I wonder if there was another one that ran up here. But it looks like he might go up. No, now he's sniffing. Can hear the squirrel in the background. Oh, big yawn. And his movement is slowly south, so as much as he's moving around here, his general movement for the day has been south apparently. But the tracks that I had was around Spaghetti Junction, and that's north of us, and he's moved kind of down this area. So I wonder if he's not slowly but surely making his way down towards Twin Dams, and we might see another Hosana Thamba interaction at some point. I don't think tonight is going to happen, because Thamba is interested in something. He wants to hunt whatever was around here. I think it maybe is a squirrel that he's busy looking for. So I think he's going to be waylaid for a while, and we know that Hosana is watching those Impalas, and so he's probably in all likelihood going to be heading southwards. So I don't think it's going to be tonight, but maybe tomorrow. If it's hot, the two of them might come together at Twin Dams again, which will be interesting to see how that plays out. But both boys are completely unscathed by their last interaction. Mr. P, you're asking if Thamba is totally independent. Mr. B, I'm not sure. From what we've seen, we haven't seen him with Thandi for quite some time now, so I have no idea. I don't know if Thandi's decided to leave him. Thandi's been very elusive of late. It's been difficult. What are you stalking? There's something moving down below here. Here it comes. What is this? Is it a hyena? I think there's a hyena down below here that he's busy watching. There's something moving. I can't see what it is. Senzo, can you see? It looks like I can hear leaf litter moving, but I know the guy saw a hyena just now, and he was moving towards it, I think hoping that there was a duiker or something coming up the drainage, but it looks as though it's something else, because he just sort of stopped all of a sudden and backpedaled. I don't know. Maybe it's something else. I'd be surprised if he would approach a hyena. Look, he's snarling. It must be a hyena. He's growling and hissing. Don't go towards it. Thamba, what are you doing? So he's gone over the front of my bonnet here, and I really can't move anywhere further than where I am now. You can just see the tip of his head on top. The hyena just chased him. So the hyena is just here on our left now. I'm not sure which hyena it is just yet, but the hyena probably thinks that Thamba's got a kill here, given that this leopard has probably been moving around in this general vicinity for quite some time. There's a little face peering over the bonnet. Or maybe Thamba does have a kill and this hyena's already stolen it and eaten it and now looking for more. But like I said, don't know who it is yet. When it comes past on the left here, we might be able to get a better idea as to who this is, although it's using the cover of the car quite a lot at the moment. So Lou says it looks like our bin raider, which would be Ribbon or Gwen, but I think I'm not 100% sure now. She's going to walk straight into Thamba. There goes Thamba running off. At least Thamba's going into a more open clearing. So hold on, this hyena is harassing Thamba, and I don't know if we're going to be able to keep up with Thamba at all. I'm trying to get out of here, but it's very difficult terrain. to move fast, that's for sure. Just careful your head there, Senzo. You good, Senzo? Just hope they don't go down into this drainage, because if they go into the drainage, for me it's going to be very difficult to follow them. I'm not going to be able to go in there, but let's just check earpiece. Yeah, earpiece is okay, because otherwise I'm going to get in big trouble if I then lose an earpiece. There goes the hyena again. I don't know where Thamba ran off to. He ran off this way. So I'm just going to try sneak through this little gap. Whether I'm going to be able to get this right, I'm not quite sure. Come on, Wendy. Small Wendy, small Wendy. There we go. Prism Echo, you say perhaps there's a kill in one of the trees. Maybe. The way this hyena is striding around, it could be possible. But don't forget that Thamba's been spending a lot of time here. I've been seeing his tracks every day for the last 4 days, and maybe this hyena just thinks because it's picking up so much scent of leopard that maybe it does have a kill. But it's striding off now northwards and into the bush, and we'll try and see if we can find Thamba again. I have a funny feeling Thamba's really run, and there's no sign of him. I can't see. Can you see him? Okay, so at least Senzo can see him. That's great news. But I'm surprised at how brave little Thamba was with that whole process, and how he kind of went towards the hyena and growled and hissed and stood his ground, which is really amazing to watch. I'm pretty impressed with the young lad. He's shown that he's not really scared of anybody. He doesn't take anyone's nonsense. He's gone after... He's going to come this side. Okay, so we're just going to park here in front so we can see him coming out. So he seems as though he doesn't take anybody's nonsense. He seems to be alright to go after. He walked up to Hosana. Even though he played submissive, he still walked straight towards Hosana and wasn't in any way fussed by him. But that's a beautiful view there. Now sit on top here for us. There we go. How's that? Thank you, buddy. So he's sitting perfectly on top, exactly the way we wanted him to. So I'm just going to change the lighting so we have a bit more of a floodlight, and that makes it a lot easier, and I don't have to have such a bright light on him, and we can see him nice and clearly. But how beautiful is that? You can't ask for much more when you want to see a leopard than an open little mound, and in this thicket he has chosen the best spot for us to watch him. Thank you very much. Now, the hyena seems to have moved off completely, but our two boys are very pretty, both of them. Proud cat mama, it depends on the mom. Sometimes you'll find it's early on, around sort of 14 months. Other times they'll keep them a little bit longer, just towards 2 years and up, a little bit over 2 years. Generally, though, it's between 14 months and 2 years that we see cats going off on their own and becoming independent. It would be quite interesting if Tandy's left him now, because this is very early. He's only about a year old. Typical Thamba, always looking in the sky and looking for things. So it would be interesting if she has left him. I suppose he's actually a little bit more than a year old now. He's about 13, 14. He's now about 15 months almost. So he's getting to that age, I suppose, and it is time to leave him. So I wonder if Thandi is now on her own mission, and that's why we haven't seen too much of her. Maybe she's tracking around, scent marking as she preps now to start mating heavily and to start maybe denning once again. So it'll be interesting to see what the movement is over the next little bit, but certainly this guy is spending more and more time on his own. The best part about it is that she's left him here in the middle of Djuma, so he's right in the center of Djuma at the moment. Tingana doesn't seem too stressed by his appearance and his tracks that are around. We saw Tingana, and where we're sitting right now is exactly maybe 10 meters north of where Tingana and Kuchava were mating the last few days, or a few days ago, should I say. And so they picked up his scent, and you could see Tingana wasn't too fazed by it. He carried on, wasn't too sort of worried. And so that means that Thamba, who seems to not travel big distances at all, we seem to find him sitting in the same places, that potentially we're going to have the most epic time with this little boy over the next couple months, because I'm hoping that he's not going to explore too much and that he's going to be just like Hosana, and that he's going to spend a lot of time around the central parts of Djuma, because if we can have these two boys on a regular basis, we are going to be absolutely spoiled. Both of them are probably two of the prettiest leopards that we've got in this northern Sabi Sand sector, and both of them are characters in their own right. Hosana is fast developing into this incredible leopard that is able to hunt and is establishing himself. And Tamba's still a little bit younger, so he's a lot more playful, and you can see it when he watches the squirrels in the trees, or when he goes towards hyenas, or when he looks as the birds fly over, and seems to have these big wondering curious eyes. And so they've both got these kind of different demeanors, but yet they provide us with such incredible sightings that we are seriously spoiled to have these two here. And the fact that Thamba has come to Djuma has really been a godsend for us in a way, because with the disappearance of Kruger at one stage, what's he seen now? Maybe this hyena is back again. Because with the disappearance of Kruger at one stage, our leopard sightings became tough. It was not easy for us. There was not really that many leopards around, and so we struggled when it came to leopards. And now, at least with this one and Hosana, we've had a lot more kind of luck and a lot more time spent with our leopards. Alright, well, we can't see anything down there. It's not going to even be possible to negotiate that, so I'm going to try go around again. Hopefully he'll head back towards where we are now, and that we'll be able to get him back on this little mound, because that's the ideal place. I also got to watch that I don't spike my own leg off on this knobthorn and hit Wendy. Sorry, Wendy. Right, here we go. I can't believe the temperature difference though between yesterday and today. It is quite phenomenal how much warmer it is. Oh, there he is. He's right out in the open now, which is good news. So hopefully we're going to see him kind of tracking around this area. I just want to go around so I can see him coming through this clearing. Philip, you're asking, is a lone hyena a representative of more hyenas being nearby, or how common is it to have just one lone hyena? Well, it's very common to have lone hyenas, Philip. So how it works is, even though hyenas are clan animals, they spend a lot of their time, oh, look at him posing, they spend a lot of their time on their own. So what they do is they move around and separate at night, and everyone goes in a different direction, and that means that they can cover a lot more of the clan's territory and domain in order to search for food for everybody. And so that's why they spend a lot of time in separate kind of units. Let's go forward for you, Sensor. And so it's very, very common to see them on their own like this. It's really not that uncommon to see a hyena by himself and to watch them move around on their own. I just want to scan around in case there's maybe something he's stalking. I don't see anything at this stage. Poor Thamba though, he's been harassed by hyenas this week. He made his first Impala kill a few days ago, and hyenas unfortunately stole it. So I feel sorry for him in a way, because unfortunately that was his first big kill that we know of, and they seem to be still harassing him. And this is what happens when they stay in the same place for some time. Hyenas almost get expectant that there is food, and that's why they then come and harass and check around and walk around this area to try and find it. It also means that if he does make a kill, hyenas are generally quite close by, and then they're going to try and come at him and try and actually steal it away. So he needs to move a little bit more than what he is at the moment. He seems to be moving within, I would say, not even a 500 meter squared grid or block. So he needs a lot more kind of movement, and it's no wonder we didn't spot him up here. If you have a look at this vegetation behind him, so there's a very dense, thick wall of vegetation, all of this. Just on the other side of that, if I peer through these branches, in some places I can just see the sand of the Mulawati. So even if he was lying 50 meters, or not even 20 meters from the Mulawati drainage, you will never see him if he's lying up here. And just that's the thing, is that so this morning we saw his tracks, and I just had to follow them a little bit further, and we would have found him as well. So it's okay. Made it better for this afternoon. Make up for this morning. 2 leopards, we can even it out and make it 1-1. And at least it continues our run on Djuma for another day with cats. So we're now broken the unlucky 13 tomorrow will be day 14 that we will try and find cats. And with Thamba being where he is right now, I'm pretty certain he's going to be somewhere in this general vicinity. I highly doubt he's going to move too far from where he is now. I don't think, unless Tundi comes here and drags him to a kill, which I doubt, given that she hasn't done that in the last week, then I think we're in for Thamba being exactly where he is now. And look at that beautiful long tail. You can see a little black tip to it, and then the white underneath. So the reason why the white doesn't go on top of the tail is so that when they're walking, it still camouflages somewhat. The back part of the tail will be white so that there's a following signal, but when it's black tip like that, is just to be able to try and camouflage as well as possible. Fortunately, he's chosen a very bad spot to lie down, so I'm going to try and see if I can find a better way to see his face. But while we do that, I believe Brent Leo Smith is back with us and is following some sausages.
3. Welcome back. I know I've been gone for an age. Unfortunately, our cheetah disappeared into some rocky outcrops. But we are with the main body of the sausage pride. So lots of lions here at the moment. We've got 2 young males, 5 females, and behind us somewhere in the dark are the cubs and the big male. They stayed underneath the tree resting, and this lot look like they're on the hunt for dinner. And there were some zebra in this area earlier today when I came through. Dave, can we kill this top light? Sorry, I'm being covered in bugs. At least I'm not Tristan and I don't cry about it. Hey, Trist. Okay. Thank you. Let's keep up with them now. Now, occasionally you'll see the flash of my spotlight. I'm just making sure to see if there's anything up ahead of them. But other than that, we're going to be in the dark tonight with hunting lions. So scary. Not really. Very exciting. Remember, this is 100% live from Kenya. We are following the gorgeous sausage pride out on the hunt. So make sure the male is the big male coming to join us. He is too. So the cubs have stayed behind, but the big boy is coming up behind us. There he is. Right in the distance there. Just out of your light, I'll put mine on. He'll be waiting to take advantage of whatever the girls catch. It is an absolutely gorgeous evening here in the Mara. There is not a breath of wind. The stars are out. There's no sign of us getting drenched, which is always quite nice for us. I mean, I don't mind the rain as long as it's not raining while I'm out here trying to follow lions hunting. Because generally what happens if we lose the lions when that happens. Wild would like to know, or says the Mara is obviously much greener than Djuma at the moment, but they thought Kenya was having a drought. The drought's actually been broken, but put it this way, the Mara will always, at all times of the year, be greener than Djuma. During wet season, dry season, it will be greener than Djuma. It is just a much higher rainfall area. You would actually describe the greater Kruger as arid, where there is, the Mara is quite wet. Hello, big girl. So, not starving, but definitely could do with a meal. She's a bit stiff in the back hips there. That's quite often with lions when they start getting moving first in the evening. Their little injuries and niggles take a while for them to sort of stretch out. Now, I didn't do it. He's wondering, do the big cats have bones in their tails? Indeed, they do. They do have small extensions of the vertebra going into their tails. So they do indeed have bones in their tails. Oh, there we go. Dave, let's have a look. Can you see what that is in my spotlight? Just have a look if you can make out what that is in the distance. Buffalo or wildies? Buffalo. Buffalo. Now there are 7 lions that are big enough to jump on buffalo here, plus the big male coming up the rear. So are we about to see our first Masai Mara live buffalo hunt? This is so exciting. Now, the lions here seem to be quite allergic to buffalo. Well, the males not so much, but the prides. But the fact that the wildebeest haven't been around for a while, and from what I'm seeing at the moment, there's not many zebra about. They seem to be closer to the river. Who knows, maybe the sausages are going to try their luck at some buffalo. I mean, it's a big enough pride. Now, lions hunting buffalo is always extremely exciting. Jan says, what a sight, all the lions walking like that. I just want to see if they've noticed the buffalo yet. It looks like one female has. Oh, look, big male is still coming up directly behind us. Now, there are 2 young males here. That's always a good sign for buffalo hunting as well. They tend to be slightly more adventurous than the ladies. Now, they might try target a calf out of the herd. Okay, it looks like we are getting some acknowledgement of the herd ahead. Sorry, Dave. It was a bit of a harsh stop. Looks like we might think about this hunting buffalo malarkey. Can just make out their eyes behind the lines. Oh, quickly across to Tristan, who's got Thamba on the stalk for a primate.
Well, it was. Unfortunately, we lost sight of the bush baby. Thamba gave it a little snarl as it jumped around above us and then disappeared into these big tall trees. So he's now down towards the Mulawati riverbed, and he was very upset at the bush baby because it was out of his reach. And it seems like he just wants to make friends with everybody. He's followed hyenas around. He's been all over the place this afternoon, and that's why I love spending time with this cat. He's always busy. He's never a cat that spends a lot of time just sitting, and he likes to kind of move around. You see he's sniffing. I wonder if he didn't have a carcass here that was stolen from him. The way that he's like sniffing and he's loop backing on himself again, it's interesting behavior. So it seems like he's going to move towards the Mulawati and back to where I had his tracks this morning, exactly where I had his tracks. Right, so Lou says he has PTSD from the other day with Hosana. Now hold on, Senzo, this is very, very steep down here and there's a few branches, so careful your head. Oh, sorry, Senzo, you're right. Very good. So, there we go. Car's at an awkward angle. I'm about to slide off my seat and fall out. Hopefully not. There we go. We're good? We're good? Alright, good. Just got to make sure Senzo's still on board. Don't want to lose Senzo in the thicket. Oh. Little Thamba, you've taken us on an adventure, that's for sure, buddy. I'm quite glad to be actually in the Mulawati, to be honest, so that I can see what I'm doing. Oh, hi, Bacon. You're asking if I think the 2 leopards would become buddies. No, I don't think so. They're, for now, both young individuals. They're unsure of what to do or where to go or who to be with, and so they're just still craving company of their mother and well, in Hosana's case, his sibling, and so that means that's why they kind of see each other and they're not too aggressive towards one another. But look at that. Is that not the cutest little face you could ever see? Hello, little boy. This is exactly where we had the other two mating. We're literally in the exact same spot now. And big teeth. Oh, look at that. There is very few things in this world as beautiful as a leopard strolling along on the banks of a riverbed. It is one of those experiences in life that will never get old for me, and one that I'll always want to experience. Well, let's let Thamba come down, because he clearly wants to lead the way by the looks of things. There we go, into the tire tracks. That's where they like to walk, and off he goes. So these are the tracks I keep finding every morning around this exact same spot. Every morning I've come here for the last 6-7 days, there's been tracks in this riverbed for this little guy. And so this is obviously where he's hanging out. And tomorrow morning, guess where we're going to be coming first thing in the morning? You guessed it, right here, which is fantastic. So super happy that he's around. I love this little cat and love spending time with him, and really have thoroughly enjoyed my afternoon with both the youngsters. They've been such an interesting study today. They've both displayed lots of interesting behavior. They've been a real treat, and we've been spoiled today. We really have been spoiled by these two little leopards, and I believe Jamie's been spoiled with the cheetahs on a hunt, and Brent with the lions that are now going to contemplate going after some buffalo or even wildebeest. Is going to be really interesting, and it's been a wonderful action-packed show. And once again, the cat trifecta. Who would have thought that would have been a common thing on Safari Live a few months ago before the Mara started? The Mara really does bring the lions and cheetahs into our world. And well, the leopards of the Sabi Sands continue to just provide the most ridiculous sightings for us here. Now, James, you say the Djuma cat streak continues. Congratulations. Well, thank you very much, James. It's no thanks to me. It's just the cats have been out and about, and we've been fortunate. We've been super lucky in that we've been managing to be in the right place at the right time, and well, it's been just the most absolute pleasure and a real treat for me to be able to show you guys all of these things. I've thoroughly enjoyed my time with these individuals over the last few weeks, and hopefully it continues. Hopefully we go on a really long cat streak, and Taylor and Steph and Byron and Ali and all of those that are coming in the next few weeks and months will also continue. But unfortunately, it's that time of the day where I need to start saying goodbye. We are winding down to the end of our drive, and Thamba is slowly just sitting in the middle of the Mulawati. So from Brent and Jamie and Taylor and all the camera ops to that side, I'm not sure who was even with any of them this afternoon, and Alison FC and Lou and Megan this side, and Senzo and myself. It's been an absolute pleasure, and we hope that you all have a wonderful evening or day, and we'll see you tomorrow morning on the Sunrise Safari.